Okay, so we have nearly finished our challenge, the Great Ocean Road Health virtual hike. I hope everyone has enjoyed it. I sure have. So inevitably we have suffered a few injuries along the course of the hike. It was bound to happen with such enthusiasm and commitment, which I applaud. Really good to see. But we're going to address a couple of these more consistent injuries. So the first one we're going to have a look at is shin splints. So if you have had shin splints before, I have, it's typically because you do more than your body is ready for, you exceed your body's capacity at that time. These are really annoying injuries. They are this kind of burning, painful sensation just on the inside or outside of your shin bone on the front of your lower leg. And they are quite debilitating for about 10 minutes every time you go walking and running until they warm up, which then they magically disappear. So if you push through that 10 minutes, then you can carry on and just delay or further exacerbate the program for the following day, which we don't encourage. We need to address these quickly. The biggest risk factor physically is having not quite enough strength in our calf muscles. So if we can address that, then we can get away with a little bit more recklessness. So we should always be more progressive and gradual in our increase of exercise, but we're still human. So we get excited, we get carried away. I'm just gonna move this a little ways. So what we do is we have a look at how we can strengthen our calf muscles. So nice light chair like this one. All we need is to be able to hold on to something, because technique is very important. If you're trying to do calf muscles without holding on, our technique goes out the window. So holding on to something for support, and you're just coming up onto your toes and then back down again. So you do a couple on two legs just to make sure your technique is good, and then you get one leg out of the way and you continue with good technique. So good technique is no clawing with your toes. So you keep your toes nicely spread. You're not rolling inwards or outwards with your ankle. You take your knees straight over your foot and you try to lift your head straight towards the ceiling. So there's a few things to think about, and you hold on for balance, otherwise you spend more time trying to control how you're standing. So up and down onto your toes, full range. When you can no longer do full range, you earn a rest. You just do as many as you can on one leg, and then when you're ready, you swap onto the other leg. So your rest is one leg's resting in the air while the other leg is working. Numbers don't matter. We always want more. A good number, if you were to test yourself, is in the 40s. So it's quite a lot. These are tough muscles, and these help us to walk and run with greater ease. The other thing is to go slowly on the way down. I see very commonly people come up and then they just drop down. Controlling the lowering phase is a shortcut to strength, and it's where we get a lot of our benefits. So you might as well do it properly if you're going to spend some time doing calf raises. They do take time. If you did 3 rounds, like we will, so when you've had enough, swap legs again. But it can take up to 15 minutes. Can take a long time, but to make muscles stronger, you need to make them tired, and then repeat that a few times and they will learn to adapt. We have 2 main calf muscles. So one you strengthen primarily with a straight leg, which we're doing now, and the other one with a bent knee, which we will do next. So it's not exciting. I can't pretend that they are, but they're so good for you. So if you want to keep walking and running and doing all those good things, you simply have to invest a bit of time in your calves. So nice and slow and controlled. We're racing through it, just one more to go. You'll probably find that your numbers are reduced with each round as you get a little bit more tired. Try not to lean your body too far forward. Try and stay nice and tall. Or last round of the straight leg. You might recall that we did an injury prevention series at the start of our virtual hike. And they certainly included calf raises, like so. One of the greatest exercises going around. So, straight leg, done. We'll do just a few with a bent knee so you can see what it looks like. So you bend your knees, so you're in a kind of crouch position, and then you lift your body up while you maintain that same angle at your knee, and then you control the way back down again. Really hard not just to do lots of squats, completely different exercise, but just trying to tell your brain what you're trying to do with this is very difficult. You do what you can. We might just do 2 rounds of this as an example. Again, you're trying to make sure that there's no clawing with your toes. You're still lifting straight up towards the ceiling. We'll do one more round on each side. No rolling in or out through your ankles. Last one. Like I said, you can spend a lot of time doing calfies, but greatest muscle group in the body, what else are you going to do? They've been shown to reduce pressure in your hip if you have a hip injury. So they're the first port of call for all forces. From the ground, when you're walking, running, all sorts of things, you got to look after them. They are an investment. Okay. Shin splints, calves. Let me lower this a little bit. What we're going to do next is look at the other injury, which was our hamstring, back of thigh, this bit here. So, laying on your back, fingers on the front of those bony bits in the front of your pelvis, front of your hips. Lift your hips up, and we'll just do a few like this. So if you do have that flare up of the old footy injury, kicking the ball, top of your hammy, next thing you can do is go one leg, and then you'll start to feel that there's much more pressure on that back of thigh on the hamstring. So you're just doing as many of these ones as you can without dropping, hitching, hiking, without swinging that other hip around. So you have to be able to keep a level pelvis as you do this, otherwise you'll be winding up that hip. And when you're ready, you swap sides, other side. So we don't have to do too many variations, but I will show you a couple, because we always have to make exercises more progressive, either by doing more and more reps, but that just ends up taking, of course, more and more time, or what I prefer is making them harder. So you limit yourself to doing ideally no more than 10 reps by making the exercise more challenging. So for your hammies, all you do is you move your feet further away from you, and it changes how much support you get from these glutes and some other muscles. So you put more stress on your hammy. And a common risk factor for doing your hammy is them not being strong enough. common theme. So you're not trying to lift your hips up as high as you can, you're just lifting them up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, other leg. You can do whatever you want with that leg in the air. So our first variety, we had our knees at nearly 90 degrees, something like that. And this time, a little bit further away, just a little bit. And you can keep going further still, you can go as far as you like. However, I'm going to show you a slightly different one for our third variety. Using a chair, couch, whatever you have that you can put your feet up on. You can choose if you're going to have just the toes on or the heel. I quite like the heel because otherwise you start gripping with your calf, and because you always do your calf raises, they might get a bit cranky or crampy. Either way, not fun. So just lifting, hips to the ceiling. Don't worry about rolling through your pelvis, anything like that, but you shouldn't be getting a tight back because you should be using these muscles. And when you've had enough, you get to swap those legs over. Let's do one more round on each side while we're here. And these are my two key injury rehabilitation, injury prevention exercises. You choose what's appropriate and work on them. All right, last leg, last round. Okay, calvies and hammies. Look after both of them and you will be able to keep this challenge going for as long as you like. See you soon.